Imagine Joe. Poor scruffy Joe. Joe spent all day standing in the cold river, toes numbing, eyes straining, just to catch 5 slippery silver fish. He is tired. He is hungry. He dreams of a feast back in his warm cave. But as Joe walks up the path, he meets a very large, very well-fed man. It is the Fat Chief. The Fat Chief isn't holding a spear. He is holding a basket. He smiles a big, toothy smile, the kind of smile a tiger gives a goat. He doesn't ask for a fish. He simply points at Joe's catch. Before Joe can say, "Ugh," the chief has reached in and grabbed 2 of the biggest fish. Joe looks at his 3 remaining fish. He looks at the chief's growing pile. This is not a robbery, the chief explains. This is a contribution. This is the first rule of the tribe. If you hunt in the valley takes its cut. We call this taxation, but to Joe, it just feels like a smaller dinner. The chief tells Joe that these fish aren't for him to eat. Well, not all of them. They are for the great stone pot in the center of the village. Joe wonders why his hard-earned fish need to sit in a pot while his own stomach growls. But the chief is already walking away, humming a tune, his gold necklaces jingling with every step. At the center of our village sits a pot so large it could hold a whole mammoth. This is the tribe's treasury. This pot is the heart of what the elders call fiscal policy. It sounds like a fancy word, but it is actually very simple. Fiscal policy is just the chief deciding 2 things: how many fish to take from the hunters and where to throw those fish once the pot is full. Think of the chief as the village's giant hand. One hand is the tax hand. It reaches into every hunter's basket. If the hand is too greedy, the hunters stop hunting because why freeze in the river if the chief takes everything? If the hand is too soft, the pot stays empty. The other hand is the spending hand. This hand tips the pot over and pours fish back into the village. Ideally, the fish should go to things that help everyone catch more fish later. But as we know, the chief's hands don't always move with the wisdom of the spirits. Sometimes they move with the hunger of his own belly. Now, what does the chief do with Joe's fish? He calls it government spending. He stands on a rock and shouts about progress. He uses some fish to pay the bridge builders, men who put flat stones over the mud so Joe doesn't slip on his way to the river. This is good. It's called infrastructure. It makes the tribe faster and stronger. But look closer. Some of the fish are going to the rock watchers. These are the chief's cousins. Their only job is to sit and watch a rock all day to make sure it doesn't move. They don't hunt. They don't build. They just eat Joe's fish. Then there is the grand feast. The chief decides the village needs a party to celebrate his 3rd chin. He spends 1,000 fish on fermented berries and mammoth steaks. The tribe is happy for one night, but the next morning, the fish are gone. The pot is empty, and Joe still only has 3 fish in his basket. This is the trap of the pot. It is easy to spend fish on things that make noise, but hard to spend them on things that actually fill stomachs for the long winter. One day, a disaster happens. A storm washes away the fish, and the hunters come home empty-handed. The great stone pot is bone dry. But the chief has already promised the bridge builders and the rock watchers their daily fish. He has a problem. Does he stop spending? No. He pulls out a piece of dried bark and a burnt stick. He walks over to the rich tribe in the next valley, the ones who hoard all the shiny blue crystals. He says, "Give me 10 baskets of fish today, and I will give you 11 baskets back after 10 winters." The rich tribe agrees. They give him the fish. The chief throws his party. But here is the secret. The chief doesn't have 11 baskets of fish. He is betting that Joe's children will catch enough fish in the future to pay back the debt. This is the magic stick of debt. It allows the chief to spend fish he hasn't even taken yet. It feels like magic today, but the future is being sold to the rich tribe. And it is a heavy stone tied to the ankles of the next generation. Sometimes the whole valley goes quiet. The sun hides, the bushes stop growing berries, and the hunters get scared. They stop trading. They hide their few remaining fish in deep holes. The village fire starts to die because no one wants to move. This is a recession, the long silence. The chief sees the tribe freezing. He decides to be a rainmaker. He tips the great stone pot over and floods the village with fish. He gives fish to the poor. He pays people to dig holes and then fill them back up. Anything to get people moving again. This is expansionary policy. The goal is to start the fire. If people have fish in their hands, they start trading again. They buy new spears, they fix their caves, and the village wakes up. It sounds perfect, but there is a catch. If the chief pours too much fish into the village when there is nothing to buy, something strange happens to the value of a fish. Imagine the village is back to normal, but the chief keeps pouring fish out of the pot. Everyone has baskets full of fish. Joe goes to buy a spear from the spear maker. Usually it costs 1 fish. But the spear maker sees that everyone has plenty of fish. He says, "I don't want 1 fish. Give me 5. Suddenly, Joe's fish aren't worth what they used to be. The jungle has overheated. This is inflation, the invisible thief that eats the meat off your bone while you're looking the other way. Now the chief has to do the most unpopular thing in the world. He has to be the no-fun chief. He uses contractionary policy. He reaches out with his tax hand and starts yanking fish out of the village. He wants to make fish scarce again so prices stop climbing. The tribe hates him for it. They like the Rainmaker chief. They despise the tax collector chief. But a wise elder knows that if the chief doesn't take the fish back, the whole village will eventually be trading a mountain of fish for a single banana. As the sun sets over our valley, Joe sits outside his cave. He watches the smoke rising from the chief's great stone pot. He realizes that the magic of the pot isn't magic at all. It is just his own work, shifted around by a man in a tiger skin. Fiscal policy is a balancing act on a very thin vine. Too much tax, and the hunters give up. Too much spending, and the jungle burns with inflation. Too much debt, and the future is sold to the neighboring tribe. Do not just watch the fish in your own basket. Watch the chief's hands. Watch the pot. Because when the chief makes a mistake with the great pot, it isn't his belly that stays empty, it's yours. The cave is quiet now. The fire is low. If you want to keep your fish safe from the invisible thieves of the valley, you must learn the ways of the elder.